let's get started. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining and tuning in on my first video. I just want to express my gratitude because I have been waiting to create this vlog, to start this vlog for some time. Even during my pregnancy, I thought about it, thought about sharing my journey, and not just my journey, but just like the idea of connecting with other moms and telling our stories and talking about different topics. So lo and behold, we're here, right? And I just want to just express thank you so much for joining once again. So to introduce myself, my name is Kellen Key. I like to call myself Key. I'm a new mom. I have a 3-month-old, and he has been such a delight. I adore this little guy. He's sleeping right now. I had to put him to bed because not that he's necessarily distracting, or annoying or anything like that. Where he's just at that stage where he's now vocal. So, and I also am like, I'm weird about being around the screen and him watching me being on screen. So, I'm just like trying to balance that out. So I was like, let me put him to bed. I like him being next to me while I'm doing anything really, but just certain things that you just gotta put them to bed for. So yeah, I'm a new mom. I'm a digital creative. I'm an artist. I'm a chef. Like, I was working in the food industry for some time, actually, for like 6+ years. Spent most of my 20s just chefing it up, being an entrepreneur from that field, and just like cooking, working events, doing catering. You can follow my IG page at Key Essentials. However, I haven't really been like posting anything for some time there. I guess during the pandemic, I sort of like fell off. I went on a little hiatus trying to figure out like what the next thing was for me. And as for many that had to sort of question themselves during the pandemic, so here we are, right? 5 years later, and I am now ready to get more into the digital space of things. I was very like negative towards it for a while, and now lately I've been a part of an amazing community where we uplift each other to personally develop ourselves, to be better for ourselves, to discipline ourselves, to set the positive affirmations that we need to feel more confident about what and who we're meant to be. So I'm just taking on this chance now to not be afraid to be vocal on camera and be expressive on camera. It's weird, right? To just speak to the screen, right? But not really having an audience in front of you. So then it's like, I don't know, what's more nerve-wracking, like a full-blown audience right there in your face, or talking on camera? So I figured this is a good start, right? But anyways, why am I starting this vlog, right? Like, I've been talking about it for those that have been checking in on IG. I wanted to create this vlog to just start out with just expressing the need for community, right? Firsthand, we need a community for moms. We need community for everyone, for all walks of life. We all need that. And just from starting out this journey, there's just been so many questions when you're a new mom, right? There are just so many thoughts of what's right, of what's wrong. Am I doing something inappropriate or not appropriate? What's obviously not okay, what is okay, that based on intuition. Who's speaking to your ear, if you know what I mean? Like, should you be taking those advice? Should people be stepping in? Should you be setting some boundaries with people, just all that type. Those are the types of conversations I'm trying to have, because I am learning through this journey, just like, especially that we're moving on into a different age in the world, you know, on an ancestral level, on an ancestral plane, if y'all know what I mean, that some of us are losing connection and some of us are trying to come back to that, right? So there's just so much perspective just coming at us, especially in this digital world that we're in, being on social media, hearing people saying like, try this 5 ways to, you know, feel healthier or feel better, 5 ways to induce labor, like just all of that, right? It is overwhelming, right? Can we just start there? But it's also beautiful because it's like we're building this community space to share our inputs, right? So part of me creating this is to not point fingers and be like, I'm like, well, my grandma ain't do that, my mom didn't do that, I'm not about to do that. That's fine. But we can also say, oh, that's interesting that you're doing that because my grandma did this. I want to change that, you know? I want to bring more positive, a more positive space for those things, right? So, yeah, like, that's part of why I'm creating this. Safe space, community, learning. Learning is part of that. That's right. Every day we're students. Every day we're learning something new. You can have that certification, you can have that degree, you can be a mama of 5 and still we're learning, right? So there's always a story to tell. And yeah. Some of the topics that I want to also talk about are that I find very interesting are talking about hormonal changes. I find that so important because that's kind of the beginning of, I think, of how I got pregnant. And that doesn't apply for everyone, right? But for me, I know that, let me add some water actually. I have this, I did this blend of coconut with turmeric, ginger, tea that I brewed a few days ago. And then I had last night I brewed some lemongrass at night before bed. And so some of that was brewed as well. So I like to just mix a few things and it's not bad. It's pretty good. A little weird, but if you're into teas, I recommend that. If you're looking for like a nice ice cold room temp drink, like something just to cool you down, this is pretty good. I can drop that on the comment section, or in the bio, or what do you call it, on the caption. Anyways, forgive me because certain terms I'm just like, is this how you say it? I feel kind of like I feel like a old mama now, like trying to figure out like, is that what the kids are saying? But I'm in the mix, so don't play with me. So yeah, I want to talk about hormonal changes. I find that so important. It is so vital for all walks of life because we're constantly going through these hormonal changes in every stage, right? It's kind of like how they say in every 7 years, like our brain is like the development is like, you know, changing. So and especially with children, right? Like the first 5 to 7 years are like the most important. So like, and that being said, the hormonal changes start to happen. Things are getting weird. Hair's growing in places you didn't know was gonna grow, and you're like, what? And so now it's even crazier just what happens with when you are pregnant, or even when you're not pregnant, when you're just a woman in general, just all the hormonal changes we go through on a monthly basis. Some of us aren't having our periods, you know? So I really like talking about that, the reproductive journey Like, that has been something that I've been processing throughout this journey within the last year, that I really like. I've been just on this research and having discussions with other women about these sort of things. So I would love to just have folks come in, talk about these topics, because I don't want to be talking about me. That's not what this vlog is going to be about. Moving on, like, yeah, maybe it'll be me sometimes just speaking with y'all, but I really do want to, have folks in. Maybe I'll do some IG lives. I'm still trying to sort it out. Should I be doing some podcasts? Maybe that'll turn into that. It'll turn into that. So, but for now, we're on this platform. So yeah, definitely, part of the journey is talking about the pregnancy stage, the labor stage, the postpartum stage, and just motherhood journey. I want to talk about all of that. So, just stay tuned. Also, just give me some recommendation of, if there are any other specific, maybe write on the comments what type of topics you'd like to discuss, and we can work on that. I can figure that out, find a, post a video and to share about those specific topics. And yeah. So that's why I'm starting this vlog. I also think it's so cool to hear like all these mom hacks and like speaking, like, because you're on IG, right? And you start hearing about mom hacks, right? I already said this earlier, but like 5 things that you should do for inducing, or 3 things that you should give your kid from 1 month to 6 months to, have their development, stages move fast, right? Or how about the herbal remedies, right? Like, I'm very much into that. So if you're a person that's open to have those types of conversations, sure, we can talk about science, but I also want to talk about like the healing remedies that I've personally have grown up with. I want to hear about folks from other cultures talk about their remedies, what their ancestors have taught them, what their grandmothers have taught them, what their moms taught them. We like these hacks, these opinions, these perspectives, they all come from somewhere. So, and then there's also new things that are coming up because of AI and just new developed technological phenomenons, right? So all of that is welcome here. I really want to open that door, those doors rather. I want to open the doors that where, I want this to be, again, a safe space where it is going to lead us to kind of just understand different walks of life, because I do see that there is a lot of negativity, and it is very overwhelming to see just like other people talk so bad about each other just based on a post because someone thought, that they discovered something. We're all discovering, we're all learning something. So no, of course, not necessarily that person discovered it. I guess maybe it's people get mad because of like claiming something. But shouldn't we be claiming though, right? We should be affirming things, right? We could, like, affirming things is so good, it's so healthy. But I guess maybe there's a moment though where I guess it gets a little delulu and people get a little salty about it because some girl said, oh, check out this thing I discovered, and maybe we should be better with words. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to be better with my words. So, but we're here to all learn and correct and but correct in a sense of like not like pointing at fingers and making you feel bad about it. Like, again, teaching. There's just so much going on in the world as there is, so it's just like, how can I want to figure out how can we make this space productive, respectful, and and um and connected. I think those three things are like, that's so important. So that's what I'm looking for within this space. So if you want to continue to watch, you know, what I have to say, to watch my next videos, then you are most welcome. My next video, the official first video, because this is just an intro once again. I guess I wanted to just share a little bit about myself and my thought process, and just for you to just see, you know, who's this person. My next video will be about my hormonal stage, before pregnancy, before I found out I was pregnant, what I was doing, because I was very worried about not having regular periods, and I have my thoughts about, you know, what happens when we are taking birth control, and even when you're not taking birth control and you have regular periods, like there's an issue there, because it's maybe the way we eat, it's about what we're consuming, maybe you're not doing enough movements, or maybe there's something else, maybe you have PCOS, like it's all of that, it's right, like all of that can connect. So I want to share my experience in the next vlog, the next video. So this is kind of sort of a little series that I'll be doing. And then I'll also be discussing about my pregnancy experience, when I found out, that whole shebang. And yeah, I think speaking about specifically hormones and pregnancy, how I think those two things together, I find it interesting to connect that. So if you're interested in hearing that discussion, please stay tuned. With that being said, I want to thank you again. I want to thank everyone who has been supporting me. My life partner, Brian, he has been part of this journey as well. So I have my family. I'm grateful for that support. I'm grateful for the privilege of having, you know, my partner around to guide me, and vice versa, us guiding each other, us trying to uplift each other to be better versions of ourselves. I really encourage that for everyone, whether you're a single mom that's, you know, that has a partner, that are, you know, starting their family. We're all starting families. For those that are starting families, I want to congratulate you again for being strong, for being fearless, because taking in on that next step with starting a family is a fearless move. You, like, just that decision alone. Obviously, what comes next, it's like it's a roller coaster. So, you know, shit is not pretty sometimes. And based on how I grew up with my single mama, and I saw a lot of the struggles. I've seen these struggles before. I've been, you know, there's been so many things that, not just myself, but based on the repetitive, or like some similar stories that I've heard from like friends and close people in my life. Just, I want to be able to change, I guess, it's not change certain perceptions, but I want to be able to have other folks feel that there is a space for them to connect to. No matter how far out you are, if you're close to me, if you're not close to me, like, there is a space for you to hear something that you needed to hear. So I hope whatever message is being shared is feels in tune. So, you know, I want to be as intentional about this as I can. So I hope I can be able to share as much as possible with y'all. Thank you again. I love y'all. I love whomever is listening. So have a beautiful week and I hope everyone is enjoying the spring so far. So stay tuned for my next video.